Hi, welcome to the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast. I'm your host, Vince. Before we go into the video, please hit that like and subscribe button down below if you enjoy our videos. Let's get right into it.
Yes, let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Vince, once again here to talk on today's episode of the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast. And we got our boy here, Russ, here as well. How are we doing today, Russ? Oh, I can't hear you, bud. Now I can hear you.
Oh, oh yeah. Well, that's right. I'm here. You can hear me now. Awesome.
Yes. Yep. Yep. We
I'm
had
doing
a
good though.
very, what was that?
I said I'm doing good.
There we
Knicks
go.
fans are probably doing a little better.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a lot to talk about for this matchup. Now, as you guys can see from the title of this game, Knicks were able to force a game 6 and a very dominant win over the Pacers. We're gonna go really deep into the box score here in case you guys didn't get a chance to watch the game. We'll give you guys inside analysis just based off what we saw as well as what we can tell from the box score as well. But of course, before we go into the video, if you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you do enjoy the content, please hit a like. It's free. We appreciate the support. And of course, share with your friends if they do love talking basketball as well. Every now and then we do go live. We have been going more live during the postseason. So if you guys want to catch our lives, make sure you have your notifications on, ring that bell, and stay tuned for all things Courtside Podcast. Now, of course, as we can see here, New York does stay alive, right? So a lot of people were concerned after the Pacers went up 3-1. They thought, probably a gentleman's sweep at this point. They didn't want to give the Knicks at least one more win at home in Madison Square Garden, but fortunately for the Knicks, they prevailed and they started this game out really well. One of the things that I wanted to say real quick before we go right into our topics today is Knicks and 6 no longer, but Knicks and 7, we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. But again, you guys, I do appreciate you for tuning in. We're gonna have our boy Russ here actually host today's show. So, of course, Russ, go ahead and take it away from here.
All right, guys. Well, we had quite the Thursday evening for the Knicks Pacers game. We're gonna start it off here. Pacers starters flat. Knicks starters showed up. We had Ben Stiller and that other guy, Timothy Chalamet, Kylie Jenner's new boyfriend, courtside, and they were definitely showing out and showing up for the game because they were embarrassed by Mr. Pat McAfee in Indiana for that game 4, and not looking so good for the Knicks, but that game 5 definitely turned things around, and the Knicks actually came out hot, scoring on the first 5 possessions of the game. I'd honestly say it's the best performance of the Knicks in the playoffs this year, which is actually a bad sign for the Knicks because if this is what it takes for them to beat the Pacers, I don't think the Pacers are too worried because they had such a hot scoring night. I mean, they were just scoring all over the place. I mean, we had players who were, contracts coming up here in the summer, and they're like, you know what? It's not time to go home. It's not time to go to Cancun just yet. What did you see, Vince?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, definitely good what you're saying. As far as just staying on topic, what I definitely can tell, even just looking at the box score, we're going to pull up here in just a second. The Pacers definitely struggled overall when it comes to the shooting, right? Now, the previous game, they scored over 130 points. And then obviously in this game, they scored less than 100 points. So, in some ways, like Russ was saying, you got to look at it this way. It took the Pacers arguably having the worst overall game of this entire postseason for the Knicks to win. But at the same time, the Knicks, I feel like there's still room for improvement. Even though they scored 111 points, we've seen the Knicks capable of scoring more. But I think overall, what really drove the factor was the Knicks defense to start the game. We already know the story about big body Brunson, right? He's really good on the offensive end, but he's a liability on the defensive end. Same thing with Karl-Anthony Towns. In this particular game, I thought that from the very beginning, Jalen Brunson did a very phenomenal job working on the other end of the floor while still being able to produce on the offensive floor as well. But when you look at the box sheet here for the Pacers, let's talk about the poor shooting, right? You got Pascal with 5 for 13, which is not terrible, but it's terrible when he's the leading scorer at just 15 points. You got Andrew Nembhard, who hasn't really showed up this series, if we're keeping it real, 1 for 8. You got Miles Turner only taking 3 shots, 2 for 3. You got Andrew, beg my pardon, Aaron Nesmith was 1 for 8. Andrew Nembhard was 3 for 4. And then Tyrese Superstar Haliburton, only 2 for 7. He only took 7 shots, 0 for 2 from
What in
three.
the hell is going on, man?
And that's the question of today. We have had so many conversations now about Tyrese Haliburton. Is he a superstar? Is he a fringe superstar? Is he just a star? And it's like, how do you go from one game having a 30, 15, 10 with 0 turnover a game, and then the next game you have single digits all across the board and you were no show? And yes, you could say perhaps the Pacers got comfortable. You have a 3-1 lead. You're playing on the road in
No,
New
no, no,
York.
no, 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 no. Hold on a second. The man only took 7 shots. He's the point guard. I'm just saying, like, he's not the typical, one we see these days. He's a rarity in today's NBA because he's actually a pass first point guard instead of a score first. Because have you noticed, Vince, how name the point guards in today's leagues that are pass first? Not John Morant, not Jalen Brunson. You got other point guards. Just name it off the top of my head. Can you name a pass first point guard that's
Chris
actually
Paul?
a star?
Oh,
Yeah. That's not today's
yeah.
league though.
I mean, I get what you're saying. He clearly is a pass first point guard who has the capability of scoring, but that's when we get to that topic of superstar, right? It's showing up in the moments that matter the most and doing things that whatever it takes to get the results that your team needs from you, right? So like as we saw in game 4, the team clearly needed him not just to distribute, which we already know he's great at doing, but they needed him to be a scorer and to take care of the ball. I mean, this is another game he had 0 turnovers, which is great. But in terms of his overall production in the 32 minutes that he played, he was not doing what we've been accustomed to seeing throughout the playoffs. We've seen him have some amazing playoff moments. It's almost like the script has been written for him to really emerge as a superstar. But if he is a superstar, this is not a superstar performance. And so, what you want to see from him going into game 6 in Indiana, especially, is him taking ownership of that superstar status, not just being and choosing when you want to be a superstar, not just having the gimmicks of choke signs in Madison Square Garden game 1, and then when you go back to Indiana for game, what was it, 4, doing the Jalen Brunson 3 celly. You can't have those moments of being a superstar, but then you have these off moments where you're not being a superstar. So that's kind of my take with Halliburton. I want to see more consistency from him. I do believe in him. I do think that he is a superstar. Is he a superstar in the making, or is he already established? We're going to really be proving that, not just in this series, but if they do move on to make it to the finals, we're really going to see how he finishes, because that's when superstars are really made.
Yeah. So what I want to say is, do you think this is an outlier game for the Pacers?
I personally think it is, because how often do we see the Pacers starters this flat? They barely even shot the ball as it is. Not to mention, even off the bench, you had Benedict Mathurin still putting up his regular scoring outputs and nothing really else. It's so funny when you see his stat sheet. He literally just has all the points, but like nothing else in there. It's so funny. But then you also look at this as this is a do or die situation for the Knicks. So they're going to come with more desperation. They're going to come a lot more with more energy. And you could tell from the very beginning, they really focused more on the defensive end, something we had not seen consistently throughout the series. But you also wondered how much energy did it take for the Knicks to get game 5? Because now when we go on the road, going to game 6, and you're playing on the road, now you got to wonder, are the Knicks going to be able to duplicate what they just did at home on the road? The Knicks have been a lot better on the road than at home, so they can get it done to try to force a game 7. But at the same time, you got to wonder, right? Because we're seeing things that are unusual, especially from Tibbs, right? The coach. Normally, he doesn't go this deep into his bench, but I almost feel like out of desperation, it's forced him now, especially because of his starters being so tired from not just the playoffs, but the regular season, the amount of logging of hours that they've played, minutes that they've played. And so now he's in a situation where he has to play all these bench players to go deeper in his bench, and we're seeing much better results out of it. You see Landry Shamet obviously being one of those main corporates, pumping up Madison Square Garden with even just a little bit of defensive plays here and good scoring there, at timely shots and things of that nature. So I would definitely say, like, I feel like this is a Pacers outlier. They have been consistent, and here's something you don't want to sleep on, folks. Their head coach, I think, is more equipped for adjustments, right? We know the story about Rick Carlisle. He was the same Rick Carlisle that was able to beat the LeBron James and the Heatles back in 2011. Okay. He's also the same Rick Carlisle that led the Pacers to the Eastern Conference Finals just a year ago, even with all the injuries that they had to deal with. So if there's any coach that at this point that's left in the playoffs, obviously outside of Dagnall, we've seen what he's done with the Thunder. I think Rick is saving some things for game 6 in Indiana. I think that he has some plays. I think he has certain schemes defensively to slow down what they just went through for game 5. And he also has some other plays that he's trying to save for maybe even the finals, because Rick is one of those guys that doesn't strike me as just throw it all out there. He wants to play within the series, understanding it is a series, and get the win if you can, but also understand circumstances. I think that the Pacers were flat-footed because they were playing in New York. They would much rather get this Eastern Conference Finals and move on to the finals in Indiana, where you got that crowd, you got the dad, you got probably what's his name on ESPN that you were talking about that was in Game 4.
Ben Stiller and Timothy Chalamet.
No. For the Pacers, the one that was I don't know why I'm
Pat McAfee.
McAfee, thank you. Yes, yeah. Sorry, McAfee. If you ever see this video, I promise I know who you are. I just got off of work. Someone still got to work. Okay, but my point is I think they want to get that. They want to move on to the finals after their home crowd. I think they're going to take Game 6. I said Pacers in 6 all along. They're going to see if I'm right. We're going to see if I'm wrong. But
I'm going to show you this picture, Vince, and I don't want it to scare you. Okay, I'm going to show it to you really quickly, and I'll take it off the screen if it worries you. All right. I don't know how well you can read it, but most minutes played in NBA this postseason. It says Hart 374 minutes, Brunson 339 minutes. All right, Tibbs just hates Hart. We got to say that, right?
Or he loves him so much that he just is like, I can't not have you out there.
Well, no, the problem is he went to the bench for the first time last game, which actually might have been something here.
I mean, they got the dub.
Oh yeah, I mean Josh Hart brings something off the bench. The only problem is if you can be a coach that actually has the huevos to put a player like that on the bench. OG Anunoby with 320 minutes, and you can't really read it in there, but it says in the red box, no other player has logged 300 minutes. Period.
I'm surprised Mikal Bridges isn't on that list.
Me too, man. Me too.
Honestly,
I definitely bet you he's the next person. The next person on the list, 100%. But so here we go. So do the Pacers have it in them to close at home on Saturday? Or is this a must win for the Pacers? Can they, because if they lose on Saturday, can they go back to New York and play in that crowd? What's been happening in those videos on Instagram might just be happening in that arena for Game 7. Did you? I mean, like that Tyrese Haliburton.
I want to hear your
thoughts. That Tyrese Haliburton like doll they had that they were stepping on. Knicks fans are wild, man.
No, talk about that. I want to hear your thoughts on.
Well, I mean, it's just crazy. Knicks fans, they are on another level, man. I don't even know how to explain it, man. There's just every walk of life in New York, and what you may have thought as a stereotype in other places, Knicks fans throw that out the window, because there is no stereotype. It don't matter if you're young, old, black, white, yellow, green. I don't care what color you are. you're out there supporting them Knicks in whatever way you can, and if it means saying whatever whatever it takes, whatever words come out of the mouth, it's coming out, and it doesn't even matter. They're gonna go hard on the other team. Pause. So honestly, the Knicks fans, it's just another level. They they have no filter. Let's just say that. What I want to know is, we got Big Cat and Big Body Brunson. They were shining in that game. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns, man, he is what did you actually see the highlights in that game? Because what the Knicks were doing actually was like, hey, we got Karl-Anthony Towns. He's like, 7 feet tall. You know what? Stop playing on the perimeter and just put some pressure on the refs and the Pacers defense. Karl-Anthony Towns, just get that ball down on the low post and just go right through. Go right through the players and just lay it up in there and put the pressure on the refs, because that's exactly what they were doing. Karl-Anthony Towns was catching it right at the free throw line, and then he was just driving straight into the lane and laying it up or getting a foul and shooting some free throws. But I think that might be a little key for the Knicks in Game 6, because if they can continue that, I think they have a good shot of actually winning Game 6. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, so just real quick, going back to the last question, I don't think the Pacers want anything to do with a Game 7 in the Garden. They have to win Game 6. Anything can happen in a Game 7. We've seen it multiple times. The Golden State Warriors, they were able to come back from 3-1 against the Thunder, I believe, back in like 2016. There we go. And then that same year, a series after in the finals, the Cleveland Cavaliers, your boy LeBron James, came back 3-1, forced a Game 7, and even though it was on the road, still won. I personally think this Pacers team, you got to get Game 6. You don't want to see Game 7 home, or beg my pardon, on the road in New York City, where you don't know what's going to happen. The referees may not give you the favorable whistle because you're on the road. The referees may low-key, want to look at the stats and be like, I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of people betting on the Pacers. Maybe I want to go lean towards the Knicks. Jokes aside, you guys, my point is you don't want to force a Game 7. Anything goes. Anything can happen. It's win or go home. And if you literally just got yourself in a situation where you took the first 2 games of the series already on the road, you come back home, you lose Game 3, but then you redeem yourself and win Game 4 handily, right? Go up 3-1. There's no reason why you should not take care of business if you're this legit of a good team that deserves to be the finals in Game 6. I still got Pacers in 6. Let's see. But at the end of the day, just going on this topic, the Knicks, I mean, the Cat and and Brunson, they clearly did what they did. And like you said, Karl-Anthony Towns really showed up and showed out primarily in the paint. Look at how many threes he took. He only took 4 threes out of 20 shots. That just goes to show you the mentality he had. And to be honest with you, if you guys didn't watch before the game, he had an interview. I think it was either before or after. I can't remember. But he had an interview with the TNT crew, right? Chuck and Shaq. And Chuck straight up asked him a very legit good question. Why are you making these stupid fouls? You do know that when you get in these early foul troubles, it hurts your team, right? And they also talked about the fouls.
Only God knows.
Only
That's what
God
he
knows.
said.
Exactly
Only God
what he
knows.
said. And I think that conversation led to him, for the first time in a while, not complaining. Like, we always hear about how he's always like, oh my gosh, that's a foul, like with his zesty self, right? And
Carl, are you over there? Vince, I didn't know you and Carl were that close, bro. I could have
hey man,
swore that was him.
it must be the melanin. I don't know. But nah, again, my point is he clearly took it serious. He clearly decided, I'm gonna get my big, you know what, in the paint. I'm 7 foot. I can dominate. He really had the ability to dominate all series long if he had this approach from the beginning. But we saw it this game. And one thing I will say for sure, he's been a walking double-double, 20 and 10 for the last, I don't know how many games now, but this series, he's really made a presence. And then you got Jalen Brunson with a 32-point game. We already know, like you had said earlier, he's one of those stereotypical point guards where he's more of a score first type of point guard than a pass first, but he was very efficient. You could see how efficient he was going to be from the very beginning of this game, and it really translated. Yeah, that's all I got for that topic, man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is who really won the Cat Randall trade? And I'll start with mine really quick. Honestly, I think as weird as it is, I think both of them won the trade because yes, both of them might be eliminated right now in the conference finals, but the Knicks didn't even make it to the conference finals last year. They made it to the second round. And the Wolves, I would say, are better than last year, but they ran into a better team in the Thunder, which may right now be like, I mean, yeah, they just got lucky this year, the Thunder, but 4 years down the line, we might be thinking about this team, the Thunder team, a little differently because let's just say they win 2 out of the next 4. I mean, and then they win 3 out of the next 7. You just never know, obviously, in the NBA. But I would say that both of them won the trade. I mean, right now, they're both teams are kind of weighing the options of like, okay, we see what we did in the playoffs now with the trades. Now, what are we going to do to fit those other pieces around them to make it into a title contending team? Because I honestly don't think that Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards did terrible. I just think that the other guys around them are the ones who need different, pieces changed around, and it could definitely be a different team. And the same thing with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. It's not like they're not scoring. It's not like they're not, making an effort or impact on the game. It's just those other pieces. And so it's just how those other LeBron teams over the years have kind of worked is that it's like, okay, you got your 2 pieces. What pieces can you start fitting and moving around? Because that's what made all the difference over the last few years for like LeBron James teams is you know what? It's the other guys. The Cleveland Cavaliers, I think back in like 2017 or 2018, I think Saturday Night Live even made like one of those videos where it was like LeBron and the other guys. And it was basically like, because I think we all know the Cavs in 2018 got swept by the 2018 Warriors with KD on them. LeBron did everything he could. It was those other pieces. So I think that the Cat Randall trade, I think both teams won. Now they're going to see in the offseason what they can do to move those other pieces around and just kind of integrate them seamlessly. So
That's a really interesting take, Russ. As far as me, man, I mean, I think before when we talked about this in our Thunder series, like versus the Timberwolves, I think I'd said and agreed that I thought it was a wash. But after further analysis and thinking about it, I honestly want to say New York won that trade. I think that New York won that because let's look at what really happened, right? So it was Karl-Anthony Towns to New York, and then it was Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to Minnesota. Okay. Now, during this trade, we look at how the season goes, right? We look at how the team performed, right? The Knicks, I believe they had, was it 50 wins on the dot? I do know for a fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves had 49 wins on the dot. One team made it to the 3rd seed, right, in the East. The other team made it to the 6th seed in the West. And then on top of that, when you look at how both players in this trade, or really all 3 of the players in this trade performed, there were times in the series against the Lakers for the Timberwolves that Dante DiVincenzo, arguably he's a role player for them, did his part, but Randall was really the focal point. Then you also had the series against the Warriors. Randall was the focal point. But then you get against a team like the Thunder, who arguably have one of the best defensive rounded teams that we've seen in a long time, and against a very more competent team that's a more well-rounded team, he was a shell of himself. We've seen multiple times where Randall had 5 or 6 points in at least 2 or 3 of these 5 games that they got eliminated and gentlemen swept, right? And so, but when you look at Karl-Anthony Towns and their matchup against Detroit, yes, Brunson was doing what Brunson does, but Cat was right there too. Then you see the series against the Celtics. Yes, Brunson did what Brunson does, but Cat was there too. Great number 2 option. Then you look at this series against the Pacers. Brunson doing his thing. Who's still there consistently? Cat as the number 2. And so when I look at this, for one, Randall was only able to get them to win 1 game in the conference finals. Cats arguably led them to get 2 games because that first game that they won in Indiana, he was the reason they won that game. He had 20 points in the fourth quarter. So when I look at like the overall, at least for right now, I think the Knicks won because again, just look at for one, Karl-Anthony Towns alone has really showed up more than you could say Julius Randle has showed up when it matters the most. One could even argue Julius Randle was just taking advantage of smaller teams that were clearly not constructed well enough to stand with a bigger team like the Wolves had. Because when you have Rudy Gobert, who you can have basically man the paint, and then the way that Randall plays is in some ways it's like reckless abandonment. Like if you watch him play, he just tries to shoulder you, he tries to get out physical with you. But against the Thunder, they weren't having that. You have somebody like Lou Dort, literally, I think he's what, 6'3, 240, 230 or something like that. He's like built like a linebacker. You're not going to move him out the way like you did the Lakers, like you did the Warriors. And so when you actually play against a team that really can scheme against you and has the personnel to stop you, he couldn't do nothing, right? He was a shell of himself. Whereas Cat, he's had moments where, yes, there were opportunities where the opposition could have stopped him, like the Celtics, because we saw them get swept, but he had none of that. He still showed up when they needed the most. So I personally think for right now, the Knicks won this trade.
Wait, did you say the Celtics get swept?
No, not. Did I say? I don't know if I said that or not. Obviously not.
Oh,
They beat the Celtics. Like I thought
gotcha.
it's to me, because you made me almost lose my trains of thought there. Karl-Anthony Towns, I feel like the Knicks won that trade, is more impactful player. And you almost have to look at it this way, not to drag this video long, but Cat arguably should have never got traded. He was Mr. Minnesota before Anthony Edwards. He was very entrenched with the community. He was very entrenched with the organization, and he was the first #1 overall pick in a while for them and did his thing. And when you look at these two, arguably, if you had Cat instead of Randall in this matchup against the Thunder, are you really going to take the Thunder that easily, or are you going to give the Timberwolves a better chance? I would give the Timberwolves a better chance with Cat on this lineup right now than anything. So,
yeah,
that's just my take.
That's a good point. I don't know if you mentioned this or not, or if I understood it correctly, but could you, if you took the Knicks and moved them to the West and took the Wolves and moved them to the East, who would go farther?
We might have to do another video for that one. That's a good question.
I mean, is it a byproduct of the West and East? Because I feel like the Wolves team would take this Pacers team to a little bit higher ceiling. But which is another video that we could make, is that does the NBA should they even do West versus East anymore, or should they break it up? Another video.
They've talked about it.
If you're interested,
it's in the works.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for sure.
But no, that's a good point you make, Vince. I thought about it, and I'm like, if you put Julius on this Knicks team, does if you put him back on the team, does it make this series any better? And I don't think so, honestly.
I don't even think the Knicks would have got past the second round, to be honest.
Well, we all know how Julius Randle plays in a Knicks uniform, so they probably wouldn't have made the playoffs.
I won't disrespect them like that. I'm just saying, I know they're not making a conference finals if he was on this roster right now with the gauntlet they went through with Detroit and then the Celtics. I don't see it.
Yeah. Really quickly here, I'm gonna ask you, Vince. Are you still confident in the Pacers winning this series if they lose Game 6?
Let me put my Stephen A. face on. I don't know.
Right. Is this blasphemous?
I mean, here's what I'm going to say. I think the Pacers are winning Game 6. I already said that. If they lose, it's still Naptown, baby. Let's go, Pacers. I'm running all the way. I want to see you bring the pain. Okay? Bring the smackdown. We done seen Triple H in the town. We done seen everything. You guys are having a historic playoff series. If you don't win Game 6, you better win Game 7. Because I'll be damned if I see the Thunder go win the championship in a landslide like we had to see the Celtics last year go through the freaking Mavericks. They need competition. And you know what? You guys have the best arguable route to stop the Thunder. So I got Pacers no matter what. Nap Town. Let's get it.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, because Vince's Pacers picks is in, man, and he's going all out. Do I have the Knicks in 7, Vince? What do you think? Do you think I have Knicks in 7? Well, of course I. No, man, I can't. I don't have the energy for this Knicks team. I have them winning game 6. Game 7, they have a really good chance. But I don't know, man. What is this Knicks team? What have they gone through in game 7s is my question. Because the game 7's a whole different beast. I'm going to go with Knicks in 7, but I'm not going to lie, I'm not too confident that they'll even win tomorrow's game. But I'll say Knicks in 7. Vince, I need you here. Go ahead and close it out, man. Tell these fans what they need to hear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, hey, we do appreciate you. If you've been able to make it this long into the video, we sincerely appreciate it. We apologize for how long it is, but as you can tell, we're very passionate about not just this matchup, but about basketball. So if you guys are still here, please, once again, hit that subscribe button. About 75% of you guys are watching the videos but are not subscribed. Please turn those notifications on. Like I said, we do go live every now and then. So if you have the opportunity to check out our lives, you can leave comments. We do showcase your comments as well during the lives. We love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Leave some comments down below as well. What did you think about this video as well as the matchup itself? Did you predict Pacers in 6 or 7? Did you predict that the game would go to 6 or 7? Who do you guys want to see win? We want to hear about it. But other than that, you guys, we hope that you enjoyed the video. And other than that, man, y'all stay safe. And again, as always, Russ, salute.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast, where we bring you the hottest NBA moments, discussions, and everything in between. If you like today's show, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a Courtside Podcast again.